Everybody knows what that sound means. The Swing Collective is back in session. Jason Bird here with you with three guys. I couldn't imagine three better guys to be kicking something off with, unless maybe it was Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tom Watson. But I digress. We've talked about that enough, fellas. I will take B Smooth, Izzy, and Ando over those cats any day. What do you say, fellas? Welcome back to another episode.
Hey, man.
What's up?
The return of B Smooth. He had a little bit of a hiatus.
Been a month of Sundays the way it feels, and I've missed all the action, but you guys have been amazing to watch.
We're creeping up towards double-digit episodes with this thing too, guys.
I know
it, man.
Almost there.
It's people are starting to ask questions. A couple of my guys that I play with often around here, Frank and Jeremy, listening to the show. Jeremy was asking me out on the course this weekend, when's the next episode coming out? That's right. We're starting something here, fellas. That's right. People are asking for the collective. So love to kick it off like we always kick it off. Kind of let's go around the horn. And Ando, we'll start with you, man. Let's hear a little bit about where we're at with our personal games. We can talk about those hacks that do it for a living here in a little while, man. But I want to hear what's going on with your game. That's what's important to me.
Yeah, man. It's weather continues to get nicer here in upstate New York, so I think we're finally to the point where we get to play some regular golf. I'm going out on Friday again. I've got to play outdoors 2 rounds so far this year. It's been a mixed bag so far. Some shaggy greens, just early swing mechanic things going through. So, I've been around 90. I think pretty close to leaving that number in the rear view here. I mentioned before, been doing a lot of. I actually joined Orange Theory Orange Theory Fitness in the off season here. So I've been hitting that up about 3 to 4 times a week.
Nice.
Really, the priority was, aside from, this diesel bod that I'm developing, it looks good to finally like to look at myself in the mirror now. I'm not like, damn, you fat piece of shit, but, it really, my intention behind it is just trying to get a little more flexibility. And, I believe golf is a game that should be played walking. I walk pretty much every time I play. But I did find, especially in my regular course that I play here, there can be some hilly parts. Also, when you get into the summer months and it just gets hot, I found a lot of times kind of struggling towards the last 2 or 3 holes, just getting a little fatigued and a little tired. And definitely felt it affecting my game last year. So my whole intention behind really hitting the gym hard here in the off season and trying to get my cardio and fitness up so that I don't have those late round kind of mental slips and physical slips that prevent me from playing well. So,
we're going to have merch. It's just a matter of time. And I feel like everybody can do hats and shirts and everything. Mm-hmm. What I'm hearing is that there's going to be a groundswell for the Swing Collective calendar, and you want to be Mr. July.
That's it. I'll be on the cover.
I feel like with this bod, I've got like December, January. Like those are going to be my areas.
We'll give you Thanksgiving too. We'll give you November. We'll give you Thanksgiving.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But you're going to be the summer months is what I'm hearing, man.
Well, we could give you like Memorial Day for barbecues.
Yeah.
4th of July. We can work it in.
I got a membership at a gym too, man. So I'm just trying to catch you. That's all it is. That's it.
But yeah, man. Looking forward to getting out there Friday. I played last week, and I mentioned to you it was I can feel it right there. It's I had a lot of really, really good shots. I had some consistent holes, and then some where again I just attributed it to being early in the season and not fully following my mechanics, but I'm feeling confident that I'll be playing some pretty good golf here in no time.
So I'm curious, and you other guys jump in too, but something I'm really curious to hear about from you, and B will be able to jump in when we go over to him. You had to spend so much time simulator golf this season. I know you were hitting that up quite a bit up there. What do you think the measurable effect was now that you're out on the course? And maybe it wasn't anything at all, but do you feel like the simulator and as much time as you spent on it over the winter and even into this year, do you think it had much of an effect on how your season's starting out outdoors?
I mean, like there's several ways to look at this. First of all, simulator golf in 2025 isn't what it was in 2015. I mean, the technology's gotten a lot better. The measurables are a lot better. I feel that it's pretty accurate, depending on the software that you're running. I know, shout out to Tarks here in Saratoga Springs, New York. They have some pretty good setups in there. And I feel that it's pretty accurate. There are times where, anything with technology, it's like, I'm playing with a guy who was a 2 handicap one night, and he hits the shit out of the ball and hits it 280, and I outdrove him by 15 yards. There's no way. I haven't hit a golf ball 295 yards outdoors ever in my life, but
Yeah.
it made for some good jokes, and I got to give him a little good ribbon that night.
Right.
But for the most part, I think it's pretty accurate. Number one, it's just getting swings in and keeping keeping technique and form and all that. So I look, there's people that love it. There's people that hate it. I'm neutral. I think it's a good tool just to keep you loose, keep you swinging through the winter. I don't necessarily know that I think that it provides you anything measurable or, but could you certainly improve by it certainly doesn't hurt my game by being able to hit golf balls through the winter when I have 2 feet of snow outside. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Be smooth. What's your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, Ando, I see the gym all over you, and it looks great. So keep up the work. And I've been pretty vocal about at least my fitness and trying to be getting a little bit older than most of you. And I think with golf, it's like everything is strength, which is meant, you got to be there. And I think I talked about it before, where David Duval tried to kind of get Tiger-esque with the way he built out his body, and it affected his game. But look, strength has got to be there. But being older now, I'm more focused on mobility, flexibility, and stability. And those things are going to help, I hope, with the golf game. And, I've played minimal rounds. It's funny that the work that I do normally opens the door to playing some great golf. But as Bird will attest, my new role, I'm actually playing less golf, getting as many invites. I just simply can't go do them. So I'm looking forward to getting more rounds and more reps in. But back to simulator, I think the simulator is great, and I have GS Pro, and that was a great recommendation, Bird, and I love it. And I spend as much time as I possibly can. And I'm looking at, the practice, and you're looking at yardage shots, and it's giving you a visual of what it looks like. So you can start to let the neurons fire in a way that, they say practice in mental rehearsal. The brain doesn't know any different than if you're actually on the course playing. Now, where I think the simulator is great is in the mechanics of a swing and giving you tempo and giving you takeaway and all those things that give you ball flight results. Where it tends to miss for me is feedback on the ground. The moment you make that turf, all of a sudden some of the simulator, neurons don't fire as well, or you gouge, or you top, or you do any number of things because the ball, the club is bouncing off the mat. But if you're practicing with I'll say intent, for me, I'm practicing these yardage shots, dialing in the irons and the wedges. The driver is still packed away. There's actually a QI35 possibly for sale in the very near future if something great doesn't happen in the next few rounds. But no,
see it right there over your shoulder.
Well, and look, it's in a bag by itself.
By
It's
itself.
lonely. because I'm traveling tomorrow and I'm not even going to be tempted to take it.
It's in jail.
And I know I'm going on a bit here, but Bird knows some of these guys I'm going to be playing with in a nice exotic location. And I'm not going to be tempted to outplay myself. I think that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I played this gentleman on a simulator a month ago and on strokes beat him handily. Now, he told me, he says, look, I outgambled you, but you beat me. And I'm like, well, look, if I could only take a 2x2 mat to every course and hit off of it everywhere I go,
Right.
I would beat you handily. Some of that's mental. Some of that's really just, understanding my game and getting more outdoor practice. To your point, Ando, I don't have 2 feet of snow to wrestle with. So really, it's just about getting the reps in, getting real life golf in, even if it's 9 holes. I applaud you, Izzy and Bird, for getting all these rounds in. That's where betterment's going to happen. But for now, I go into every round, as Eleanor Pope says, hope springs eternal. I believe something magical is going to happen. The first magic is break 90, and after that, I'll take whatever pixie dust falls.
Man,
Izzy, what about you?
I mean, for my game, it's better. It's the best it's been since I've started playing. Played on Sunday, shot an 85,
Wow.
and it was one of those rounds where I could have broken 80. I mean, I probably left 7 putts a couple inches short. I mean, they were dead in the heart. I just didn't hit them hard enough. Now, that's my fault for not putting the ball closer to the hole on my approach, but man, it felt like it was kind of an out of body experience, because I probably shoot around 90 on a tough day. I'll shoot high 90s, not high 90s, like mid or low to mid 90s, and then on a good day I'll shoot high 80s to mid 80s. But everything felt good, man. It was just a matter of not dropping the putts or not putting the approach shots close enough. So that's been I went to the range the other day, and I I mentioned this to Bird the other day. One of my favorite things that I do when I'm feeling off on my game is I'll just grab one club and I will just hit one club at the range, and I will hit that one club and the backswing and extension and all the way through, and I'll over exaggerate the follow through to get my brain in the habit of full extension all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I shank it, I'm holding. I'm posing at the end of that swing. And so the range sessions have been good. I started a new gym routine. Actually, yesterday was the first day, doing a little PPL split with a progressive overload, and I'll know in about 6 weeks if if I'm going to need to scale it down, because it's a pretty intense one that I made for myself. But there's a lot of golf on the horizon that we'll get into later, that I'm really preparing for. So lately my game has been really good, and I'm excited for the Saturday. I'm excited for a couple weeks from now. I'm excited for even more weeks from now. It's good.
We'll get into that in just a second. We'll go around the horn here in a minute and talk about what's on the horizon as far as our golf goes. But I got to back up for just a minute, because I'm fortunate enough that in our day jobs is where I met B Smooth, and we have a litany of mutual work friends that when you mention B's name, faces light up. People, it would be the rest of this episode and half of the next one to tell you the stories about the personal effects he has on people. I'm just going to tell you all that. And he mentioned, stability, flexibility, and mobility. And I won't try to say it the way he does, because he's too eloquent for me. But I'm in the gym. I'm not hitting it as hard as Ando, y'all young bucks, but I'm in the gym trying to do some of the same thing. And when I start hurting and aching a little bit, I just remind myself of that. It's stability, flexibility, and mobility. That's all I'm here for. I'm not trying to be Mr. July on our future calendar. I just want a little bit of those 3 things, man. That's all I want. And I was at a work event last week. B, you know where I was at. And our mutual friend RD was there. And we were talking about something work related. He said, I wish B was here right now, because he could give us some words of wisdom, and all I know is he would go bam, 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 and they would all rhyme, and it would make total sense.
Dude, yeah.
And that's just what we know it. And it would, but the key word, and it would be perfect. So when you said that, man, I had to laugh because that we all know that's your deal now, man.
It's your staple.
You got a million of them, and you just pull them out. It's like Richard Simmons with Deal a Meal, man. You got them right for every occasion, dude. It's awesome. And I'm envious.
I don't want to stop you before you get into what you've been doing, but you were in one of my favorite places on earth, and you told me what hole you were on, and I sent you a text. What did you make on that hole?
I parred that hole, and that's a hole.
One of the hardest holes on the course.
Yeah, but man, and there's one there, and I'm talking about number 3, and number 3 is it is just one of those holes that has me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I don't find that it's that difficult. It's a hard hole to putt because there's a lot that can go wrong given the undulations of the green. I make it difficult to get there. And I have messed it up every way you can. And we played 2 consecutive days. The first day, I was thinking about number 3 on the range. I was like, gosh, what am I going to do when I get to number 3? And it's a par 3, y'all.
What course is this?
It's a local course here.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it. You know, it's that real nice one that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, it was already living in my head rent free, and you know, it's par 3. What club am I going to use? Depends on where the pin is. The pin was not down in the bowl either day. B. It was up on the top. You know, very easily accessible, relatively speaking. And I was over in the water. I was over in a creek. I was like, I've done it to myself again. Anyway, so and I'm not trying to be cloak and dagger here. It's Ballyhack is the name of it. We're sitting here chatting with each other. We're not supposed to say course names. We can say course names. It's Ballyhack. I had an opportunity to be over there for a work junket. If you've never heard of it, it's part of the Dormy Network, and we got to play over there with some guests for a couple of days. It's a beautiful course, part of the Dormy Network, and man, they do it right. You know, every which way but loose, man. That place is fantastic. So number 3 is a par 3, elevated tee box, and there's hard to putt. There's nothing else about that hole that should provide as much trepidation as I make it, and I completely cocked it up the first day. So the second day, I'm texting B before. I said, I'm not going to let this do it. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to be singularly focused. And I parred 1, and I bogeyed 2, and I shouldn't have bogeyed 2 because I like that hole, that par 5. I like it fine. Just got stupid with my second shot. I got down there. I didn't think about it, which is my problem. I think about it too much. I pulled a 6-iron. I put the tee in the ground, just teed up my ball ever so slightly. Deep breath in, 1 look, full swing, and I had 12 feet for birdie. I didn't make the birdie, but I tap in par. Thank you very much, and walked on. But I appreciated the words of wisdom and encouragement that my man was giving me on text message there. So it was very helpful. And that's kind of where I see my game going right now. When we started this year, and that's why I wanted Ando's purview on the simulator. The simulator was not my friend coming into this season. 100% Bird's fault, not the simulator's fault. If I could go back now and use it, knowing now what I didn't know then, every YouTube video and every tip and every trick and every strategy and every drill was my friend down in that simulator in my backyard. Well, I'm going to try this today and that tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do the day after that because I haven't found it on YouTube yet. So there was no consistency and there was no purpose in my practice. Let me try this. Let me try that. See what works. And that's exactly, and Izzy knows because we were playing together, and that's exactly what my game was out there. Mm-hmm. It was a good shot, 2 bad ones, then another flash of something, and then back in the tank. So kind of really weeded out a lot of stuff and just started focusing on these are some drills that I think will help my swing because these are the problems that I bring to the course just about every round. And my takeaway is too fast. which causes me to give up on my takeaway, which causes me to go steep and too fast in my swing. So I'm going to be stupid slow and mindful and make sure I take a full swing. And then I'm going to stay down and make sure that I lead with not my arms, but my shoulder. A lot of drills for that. And Ando, I'm pretty neutral as well. I think you can get kind of nerdy. I don't worry about angle of attack and vertical angle of my club and things like that. I'm just in there trying to make good swings and knowing that when we go out on the course, it's going to be different because I'm not hitting off that perfect lie each and every time. But I think if the mechanics are there, it translates pretty well. And what I've got now with my game, a birdie was a once in a blue moon occurrence. Man, I saw one just kind of went. It was a comet coming by tonight because like I don't get birdies very often, and now I don't think I've had multiple birdies the last 5 or 6 rounds that I've played, and unfortunately, I'm also still having the doubles and the triples. So when I played also this weekend, Izzy, I had to hurry to the course. And I got out of the course, got into the cart, boom, to the first tee, and off we went. It was a last-minute invite. And the greens had just been punched the day before, I think. So it was like the Price is Right Plinko board now is all it was. And I could not hit a putt hard enough all day. And that was my fault. It wasn't even the punch greens fault. It was just my fault. Just hit the putt, man, to make that second putt a little more manageable. I tripled one. Just inexplicably, it's not a hard hole. I just was not warm, and I was rushing and wasn't thinking. I tripled one, lost the ball out, had a drop, and how many putts did I lose on those greens all day? Couldn't tell you. And I shot a 91, and should have been an 81. So I'm kind of like you, where I started this season. I feel like those scores are kind of in the rear view.
Yeah.
And we're on a steady progression down. And like you, I've got a lot of great golf coming real soon that I'm excited about, but I think we all do. So let's go around the horn and kind of talk about that some. Ando, I know you've got some trips planned and some great golf, and you've got an epic trip with some buddies on the horizon, man. So what's in your looking out, kind of what are you excited about in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going the week after next, headed down to Myrtle Beach. Never, surprisingly, in my entire life or golfing life, have had the opportunity to go there. What I'm really excited about is playing True Blue. Big Mike Strand's fan. Love Mike Strand's designs. I've played Tobacco Road, played Todd Hill Farm, Viewbird. So I'm excited to get there and check another one off the list. Might try and sneak over to Caledonia one day if I can. We'll see. See if I can do that. So yeah, I have that coming up, and then get back. I'm back for 4 or 5 days, and headed out to Turning Stone Resort in Central New York for 3 days. We have 24 guys going out Ryder Cup style. Dude, this is my 4th year. I believe it is competing in it. Red team took it last year. We're gonna handily take that cup again this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, man, just if for anyone out there listening to us on Apple Podcasts or on YouTube, checking us out, if you've had a chance to get out to Turning Stone, or I highly recommend getting out there. Just some of I believe one of their courses there at Kaluuya is actually I think it's the number 2 ranked public course in New York State. Anyone in the collective know what the number 1 ranked public course is?
Probably that, though. They're hosting some Ryder Cup event or something later this year, right?
That would be it. Yeah. So, course is hard as hell, but usually right in that.
Shenandoah, they're saying is number 1.
Shenandoah, yeah, I would argue with that. I mean, I think yeah, Shenandoah, they're all great courses. in terms of Kaluuya is just next level in terms of quality, of course. But yeah, really excited for and then McGregor Links Country Club as well here in Gansevoort. We're open for business, so I'm excited to get back and see all my friends.
Yeah, and you're the welcoming committee there, right? What and
social committee and membership committee chair. So
nice.
Come on down to McGregor. If you guys are listening to us out there, I'd love to play around with you on me. Shoot me a note, and we can make that happen. But yeah, really excited, and hopefully at some point here in the future where we'll get the collective out together on the course as well. The 4 or 5 of us, and try and make something happen.
Well, it's funny you say that, man, because remember, back in the day when KISS kind of went their separate ways, Gene and Paul would get together, or maybe Ace and Peter would come over here and get together. So we've got little pockets of the collective getting together here in the next few weeks, and maybe Izzy, you might want to talk about that a little bit, because I know you and I we're gonna tee them up together a couple of times here in the next little bit.
So this weekend, our local club has a 4-man scramble that we actually almost weren't going to be able to play, but another twosome didn't have their other half, so we formed a new team, and that happens this Saturday. But what I'm most excited about is on the 12th of May, 13th of May, I believe.
I think it's the 12th.
This is the 12th? Okay. 12th of May, another podcast called Foreplay is hosting a tournament in Charlotte at TPC Piper Glen.
Piper Glen, yeah.
And it's a 2-man scramble, and the Swing Collective has a team.
That's right.
Whoa.
That's right. Izzy and the Bird going to be down with our brothers of podcasting lore.
Yeah.
We're going to see Trent and Riggs and Beef, and Frankie's on baby watch. I don't know if he'll be there, but it's but before the PGA over at Quail Hollow, they're going to host something at Piper Glen, and the collective will be there. Kind of, it's their tournament. We're just going to crash.
We're just going to go say hi and maybe drop. See if we win, they're going to interview us, and what do you guys do for fun? I don't know.
We got a podcast ourselves. I'm sure you've heard of it. That's right. But we're looking forward to it, man. Our local club, Blue Hills Golf Club, I think we've got them surrounded, don't we? Izzy, if you take off right now from your house and I take off from mine, I think we could both come from opposite directions and meet there in about 7 minutes, right? And it's not
not far.
Yeah, and it's a great track. And like you, Ando, we like to walk it. So it's a little hilly in Southwest Virginia.
It is hilly.
That's one that, even though it's called Blue Hills, it's walkable. And,
Shocker.
And we're able to walk that one together, and we enjoy that. And one of the other collective members, Noah, was going to be there with us, be part of the team, but he's out of town and can't be here with us. So as luck would have it, another twosome lost a pair of players. So we're going to patch a team together, and these guys are supposedly pretty good. So it's a weird format. It's obviously 18 holes, 6 holes best ball, 6 holes scramble, 6 holes shamble. So we got a little bit of everything going on.
That's fun.
There. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, man. So we're going to have a good time, and we'll see what we can knock down, as they say. But we're going to have a good time, man, and I'm going to get out there and play 9 tomorrow. Right after work, Izzy and I are going to try to get out there and play 9 together to tune it up a little bit. And we'll try to find some time Friday to do the same, man. So we're going out there to try to show up, do something special.
Yeah, we will. We're going to win it. I mean,
we're going to win it. That's it, right? I think
why we're going.
That great philosopher of our time that said, if you ain't first, you last. So, you got to be there.
2 is not a number, and 3 nobody remembers.
Now that's the great orator Nelly, and now if you're going to bring Nellyville into this, I was teaching high school back in the day when Nelly dropped that album, and if you've listened to Nellyville, Cedric the Entertainer's on there running around trying to get a copy of it, and all he could find was the clean version. Well, Bird did not have the clean version. Bird was rocking the version that you're supposed to listen to. and you can drop about any one of those tracks right now, and I'll get 80% of the lyrics for you. And Mrs. Bird didn't believe that the other day until she got serenaded with Air Force Ones.
Oh yeah,
got a little Nellyville. Yeah, she was like, okay, all right then, okay. So Nelly might sing a little better than the Birdman does, but the Bird sang it with heart and conviction. I love me some Nelly. That's all right. Now, B, I know you got some golf coming, and it'll probably put ours to shame. So go ahead and wow and amaze us, sir.
Well, no, actually, what's amazing now is you're the connective tissue between everyone. You're playing golf with Ando, Izzy, me, which we have an event coming up that I'm excited for in Indiana, a track that Victoria National, where they played the Corn Ferry a couple of years back. I know we were there before. It's a tough spot. It's actually on GS Pro, and actually even by way of the simulator, I'm having a hard time breaking 100, even though I did shoot a 91 yesterday. But actually heading with some, I'm in the insurance world, hopefully not tell a lot about that, but it gives me some opportunity. You'd likely know doctors and insurance guys spend a lot of time on the golf course. But we're heading Caribbean, St. Lucia. Don't know the specific course, but looking forward to at least getting a few more rounds in. Then I don't know if we'll be together in Arizona at Wildfire with another group. That's some golf I have the following week out in Arizona, and potentially looking to get out to Greyhawk while I'm there on one of those days. Played that once before.
When are you going to be at Wildfire?
I think it's Wednesday.
Are you talking about next Wednesday?
Yes, next Wednesday.
Hold up, my man. Hold up.
Are we going to be together and didn't know it?
Because I am playing Wildfire in Scottsdale, Arizona next Wednesday. So it kind of bugs me that we're not in the same cart. So we need to see as even my dog's excited. If you can hear him, he's like, "Did y'all hear the news? B and Dad are going to play." Yeah, man, I'm at Wildfire next Wednesday for that event. Do you know who you're partnered up with?
I do not, but now maybe I'll have to do some politicking and see what we need to do.
Get some carts moved around.
Look it up right here, and I'll look it up when it's not when we're looking at something else, because I'm playing with people that are great folks with our host that's bringing us out there. But if I could do some swinging around and it won't hurt our business opportunities out there on the course, my company is the one that's sponsoring that event, so I might have to pull some strings to see what I could do there, my man.
You may have to.
We'll see, but I'll be at Wildfire, man. So I'm excited. I played in St. Lucia as well, but I just played a sandals course there. I'm sure you're gonna be playing something a little nicer than that.
I think I forgot the name, and I have to look that up. But yeah, we're playing 2 rounds. So with the group I'm with, I think one of them will be highbrow. Of course, we then shortly, a few days after we get back from Wildfire, we'll then be in Indiana, which I'm looking forward to. And this is where the envy begins. But again, I'm been doing what I've in my industry 28 years, so there's tons of contacts. But I'll be making a Frederica, which is near Amelia Island, coming up to the AAC, the Atlanta Athletic Club, and then making our way to Marion in a 5-day swing. In PA.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a hard knock life.
Oh, I know, man. I'm just so sorry for you. I hate it. Well, y'all have about taken all my thunder, but I mean, it's because I get to play with all my friends and just looking for a chance with Ando. But I will charge the truck up and make my way, north to play with you anytime, brother.
Let's go. I'll go south, man.
We'll make it happen. But yeah, we've got that event May 12th. Before that, the week before, Vic National's a top 50 course nationally, and the last time it was there, I was a different golfer, and not in a positive way, and it absolutely tore me up, man. I thought maybe I should just quit this game, and and do something different. That's
I've
how
thought
bad it
that
was. But
many
it was
times
cold
over the
and
last 4
windy.
years.
It was terrible, So I think we're going to go out there and we're going to have a different result, man. And we're going out with, 2 other guys that are salt of the earth, so we'll have fun. Wildfire. I'll be down in Myrtle soon too. I will not be there at the same time with Ando. We're missing each other by that much. I played True Blue last year, as I'm playing Caledonia again. I'm a Strands disciple as well. I've played all those courses that you're talking about, Ando, and I like Caledonia a little better than True Blue, and it might be my favorite course that I've ever played. And I've played Harbor Town, which I think we're going to talk about in a minute. So they had some hacks out there this past weekend, and I've played Harbor Town, I've played Sawgrass, played several of the TPCs. But Caledonia is just special. And speaking of Mike Strands, we lost him way too soon. There's only so many courses he had a chance to work on, and 3 of them are as private gets, including was it Bulls Bay in South Carolina? Is it Bulls Bay or
Yep. That's it. Yep, it's Bulls Bay.
Bulls Bay, which looks phenomenal. You can't even get on the waiting list to be a member there, let alone be a member. But there are 2 here in Virginia within 30, 45 minutes of one another. So that would be a great weekend trip, is play both of those back to back.
Yeah, Royal New Kent, right?
Yeah. Yep. Not far off from each other. So that would be great. And those 2, actually funny that I live in Virginia and they're in Virginia. They're the only 2 Strands courses that are public that I haven't played. So once I play those 2, I'm done until I get some wealthy friends or something like that, But I'm like you, a lot of great golf to look forward to in the next little bit. And I just want to be mindful and really kind of just stay in the moment, man, and let's just all play the best golf we can and come back here and tell stories about them. It'd be great. Well, let's talk about the pros for a minute, because we've got 1 tournament in the books since we met last and 1 coming. So who wants to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I don't know how much of the RBC you guys got to watch, but it's I really like what the PGA Tour has done with the schedule here and with these elevated events. Coming off the Masters, I think historically, is an opportunity for guys to kind of take a week off and maybe you don't have the strength of field in some of these tournaments, but it doesn't get much better than the field we had for RBC. And then JT goes out the first day and shoots 61, breaks the course record. Those guys were out there throwing darts all week. I mean, the weather couldn't have been better. And shout out to Andrew Novak as well. I mean, man, that guy, he's played some phenomenal golf this year. He's been in a bunch of, been near the top of excuse me, but it's coming. There it is. It's been near the top of a bunch of leaderboards, and he's right there. He could have won that tournament, but shout out to him for fighting. But one thing that was crazy, I was looking at after JT broke that course record. When you look at the course records that JT has broken on tour, he's broken 9 course records.
Yes.
And these aren't
And he almost did it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, you look at some of these places like Wingfoot, obviously Harbor Town, Medina, Sawgrass, I believe he has the course record at as well. So I really enjoyed watching JT play some good golf again. Feel like it's been too long since he's been in the winner's circle. It was cool to see him back. But Izzy, what did you think? Did you have any chance to watch the RBC, and what are you thinking?
I thoroughly enjoyed Thomas winning that tournament. I think that seeing him play, I mean, it's kind of crazy how he'll go out there and shoot a 10 under, 11 under or whatever on the day, and then 2 days later he's 14 under. after playing a crazy round. It's so weird how between one round and another, it's a lot like me, man. I'll go out there, I'll shoot a crazy round. The very next one, I'll add 10 strokes. Doesn't make any sense, but it's seeing him win was awesome. Like he's a great golfer. Obviously, he's one of the more well-known ones, but I always love when someone who had it gets it back, and it feels like he's getting it back slowly, and maybe it's a confidence issue, or maybe he's trying to be overconfident, so he's taking more risks than he should, or I don't know what the deal is with him, but seeing him win that tournament and playing as well as he did was it brought joy to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, being a dad, has certainly affected his life, greatly, and he and Scheffler both, have had to start navigating that. Spieth too, for that matter. But it was just a heck of a reminder to me that has it really been 3 years since JT won a tournament?
Yeah, right.
Unreal, and he did it in just drop the mic fashion with that putt, on the first.
Yeah, that was awesome to watch.
Mailed that in. I watched a great video this week about tour players, and you think, because you see all these great highlights and videos, and you see the stats, but they're 50-50 outside of 8 feet. Well, that was a heck of a lot longer than 8 feet.
I bet that was a 0.5% chance to make that.
It was in the heart the whole way, So that was nice to see. B, I know you're a huge JT fan. Did you get a chance to watch any of the tournament?
I watched a lot of the highlights. I saw the 61 on the opening round through highlights, and then watched the end of it, which, based on, what you mentioned earlier, I think we were there at the same time. We were just getting to know each other at Harbor Town. Yep. You guys did that a few years back. So in one respect, I could see it's a gettable track, but when you play it back from where they do, it's a totally different machine.
Yeah.
And I think I've had Justin a couple of times on my either big ups or welfare check. He shot the Players 62. He had a really good round there. And I think, because I'm rooting for him, I think that was ultimately why I wanted to highlight him. And I had forgotten it had been 3 years. And yes, to see the family react and him react almost like Rory, not quite as emotional, but certainly kind of a relief moment. And it's like, is this ever going to happen again? But that 21-foot putt or so that he made on the playoff hole, without the bravado and without some of the statements, was a little bit like what he did to Grant Horvat on that chip.
Dude, that was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
But there's a swag to JT that is understated, but that confidence when he gets into a big moment, number one, you're rooting for him naturally. And 3 years seems like a lifetime, but on the PGA Tour, multi-year winners that win perennially. What we saw, yes, with Tiger, Phil, and some of that generation, that's hard to replicate. Yeah. So, number one, we'll talk about Rory, I know, in a moment, but I was thrilled for him. And that putt was very reminiscent. And I actually went back and watched that the same day and thought, okay, this guy's he's still got what it takes to win on the tour and to win a lot. And he's played some really good golf.
I mean, that putt was 21 feet, I think. And that was the second one he made on that day, and on the back nine. So the putter was just looking phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great. So it was awesome, and that leaderboard was pretty well stacked. I mean, obviously it was an elevated event, so it brings everybody out, no cuts. So you get to see just about everybody you wanted to see, except that guy took the green jacket and fled to Europe to take a much deserved week off with family. We'll see him this coming week in New Orleans. I know, Izzy, that's your stomping grounds. You're dying to talk about that, but I will still stand until he proves me wrong. Scheffler having a great year, but we have not seen him take any tournaments yet. He's starting to make me look like Jimmy the Greek from the NFL Today days of old. He is just not gonna not going to return to that otherworldly status. He has returned to the pack, or the pack has returned to him, or something. But it's just a
Well,
matter of
I
time.
found it. I found it interesting too. How badly they want to force the issue too with him, which I understand why, but I couldn't tell you how many times I heard them say, "Yeah, Scotty's rounding into form. Scotty's looking better every week." And
Right.
I'm sitting there watching it, and again, I watch a lot of PGA Tour golf, and I'm thinking, I don't know that I believe that. I think that he is in neutral. Maybe. I mean, I think sure. And look, it's his neutrals top fives, top tens. So it's not like Scotty Scheffler's playing bad golf. I'm by no means saying that. And I'm a huge Scotty Scheffler fan. I love everything about the guy.
Right. Agreed.
But I'm not seeing anything that makes me say, geez, I think Scotty's gonna blow him out of the water next week. Like he's looking great. I think he's just looking like a top 5 golfer in the world. He's not looking like the top number 1 golfer in the world, in my opinion.
He's lost.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, he's lost that ability to step on the gas and separate from the pack. Or the pack has found a way to reel him in. But I mean, everything you said, man, spot on. He's great. He's great for the game. He's easy to root for. But I think they're pushing it to your point because, ratings are better when you have that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rory is that guy. To a large degree. If they didn't have him last week, so let's bring Scheffler back out here. Let's ride that pony. But this week we'll have our guy back. Rory will be there with his pal Shane Lowry, and they'll be trying to go back to back at the Zurich. Izzy, you know a thing or two about that tournament.
I do. I've had the pleasure of playing down there a few times. In fact, my longest recorded drive was on number 4 there, and yes, I had some wind. Yes, the ground was hard. That doesn't matter.
No matter a bit.
Longest drive on record. But no, man, it's a fun course. I was actually I got to go down there and watch on a Saturday last year with my brother and my buddy, and I basically followed Rory and Lowry the whole time where I could, and watching them play in person was insane, dude. That's the first and only professional event I've been to, and obviously it's a 2v2, it's not a solo, but I mean, it was incredible. It's a fun course, and what I'm excited for is we're going to be able to see where Rory's form is 2 weeks later. So he took a week off, he went back home, he visited family, he celebrated his win. Obviously, this is a less stressful kind of like a, more like a fun event, but it's still going to showcase where his ability is. And honestly, Lowry's playing well too. I expect them to win again. They won last year. I think they're going to take it back to back, and this is a really good segue into his next few weeks leading up to the PGA Championship. And then the Open and the British Open and U.S. Open later on in the year.
Are they? You were there last year.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like. I mean, I remember watching it a little bit and you saw it on Full Swing, which they can make anything look like anything there, and I don't say that in a negative way. But is it as relaxed of an atmosphere as it appeared?
Oh,
I know they want to win, but are they having fun?
They're having fun.
Yeah.
They're having fun. The course is off. It's away. It's next to a racetrack, but the track's not being used so it's really quiet. I mean, it's literally 20 minutes outside of town, surrounded by swamp, and it's peaceful and it's quiet and it's beautiful. And the first time I played, they had punched recently, so that was kind of like but the second time I went back, I mean, I've never played on pre or post tour greens and fairways, but man, it felt like it. Yeah. I'll say that it was one of the nicer courses I've played on, and it's fun, man. You can scramble. I love courses where you can scramble. If you're out of bounds and your ball's gone, I hate courses like that, man. It's like let me try and save myself from my mistake. Give me the opportunity. Yeah. Courses with woods where you can punch out, I love. There's a lot of lakes here, but don't hit him in the lake. That's on you.
For sure, man. That's awesome.
Don't come up here to McGregor. It's all woods. Better be able to hit the ball straight. You're gonna have a long day, buddy.
Is it dense?
Dense.
Oh, yeah.
The
I love pine. I love
the
pine.
Adirondacks, brother.
When you're in, you're in. That's it.
I mean, you could
90% air.
get out. You could get out, or you could hit it 6 times before you get out. You know.
That's how my home course in Louisiana was.
Well, now, Izzy, you kept us in suspense. Number 4, TPC Louisiana, longest drive. You got to give it up.
325, right down the middle, past the cart path that cuts through the middle of it, and then I shanked my wedge, as is tradition. I actually think I ended up parring because I had a nice chip back on and I made a 10 or 15 foot putt. I don't remember, but I think I shot a 95, 96 or something. I was happy with the performance that day. It was me and my brother and a good friend of ours. We went for my brother's birthday and we had a couple drinks, and it was a good time. The most amazing driver off the deck to about 6 feet from 260 out, I watched. It's on video. When the ball's hits on video, and then I was watching the ball and not videotaping after that.
That's great.
I'll have to show you guys, but
I'd like to see that. That's awesome. That's great.
Well, I struggle to see who beats Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry. I mean, going through, looking at the pairings for the week, and it's just, I mean, it's teed up for them. I mean, I think the pairing that I saw that maybe could give them a little bit of heat is to hit the Gala and Aaron Rye. You get away from that one, and there's not really. I mean, there's a few good guys. Colin Morikawa's out there playing, but after that, I didn't see a lot of guys even in the top 20 in the world that are playing in that tournament. So
is Schauffele playing? He normally plays in.
I didn't see his name in there. Oh. Maybe I missed it. Scotty's not. Ludwig Oberg played last year. I don't see him in there.
Not that they would be much of a challenge, but are the Fitzpatrick brothers teaming up?
They are. Right. They are. Well, and you never know. They could be. I mean, you got a major winner. You got a major winner in the pairing. They played pretty well, I think, last year, didn't they?
I got to watch them play last year. I think they were in one of the final groups. So.
Yeah.
Matt's having a difficult time right now. It might be Alex that's carrying him at this point.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that'll be a fun event. Mm-hmm. I'll definitely want to make some time to check it out, as there's just been a turn of events here that we didn't foresee, and there's a family event that my wife wants to attend, so I will be bacheloring it up again this weekend. I'm staying home.
Shucks,
to be on dog duty, and also since I have to be gone all next week for said work event that I'm suddenly very excited about, because B is going to be out there, who is not on the golf junket right now. So I don't see you on the tee sheet, B Smooth. So that ought to be real easy.
I was a late insertion. They're going to work me in.
That's fine. We'll go get me shuffled and you worked in, and that's going to be the time of our life. I'll be Jennifer Warren singing the high part of that song, and I don't know who she sang that song with. Music aficionados that follow the collective can tell me. I should probably know that one, but we'll have the time of our life. That'll be fun. That'll be great. Well, guys, something else we want to talk about here a little bit, since we're online. We're building this thing up. Swing Collective, absolutely blowing up the charts on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. We got to throw a little bit of time out to the big topic this week online, and that's a little bit of a kerfuffle with some YouTube creators, the big boys of this space, going down to Miami, doing the duels with Live Golf, and if you read the tea leaves and listen to some people that I think are in the know, PGA was not too happy about that. They sent a letter out to some of the YouTube creators beforehand, said, you might not want to do that because we might not collab with you in the future if you're going to collab with Live. And real quick, YouTube creators said, hey, don't forget, you need us a lot more than we need you. They put that to bed, which I was surprised about, but it happened. However, there is a YouTube creator who also moonlights with his PGA Tour card. And B, you were talking a little bit about that beforehand. I know you wanted to weigh in on that a little bit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that you could read into it, to the tea leaves statement. And, we're talking about Wesley Bryan, and I think he's got a brother as well that's part of that or part of that social media side on the YouTube golf. And, he's won one event, actually kind of ironically, the RBC that we just finished up. And I checked his earnings on the PGA. I think it's just under 6 million. There were some Corn Ferry dollars and some others. So, I mean, a successful enough golfer. And I didn't pick up when I first saw it. So this is on me and maybe part of the discussion, that it was deemed a live event. And that's ultimately what got the PGA twisted. Because you're right, there's a lot of mashups, there's a lot of team ups, there's a lot of things. Now, when I saw, Grant Horvath with Tiger and Tiger didn't take a swing, I thought, well, maybe there was something there where maybe it's his health or maybe it's something about the PGA. I didn't really know how to read it. Of course, again, it could have been any number of things. But certainly they fired a salvo and made a statement. And then to your point, the YouTube golfers, the influencers, basically made a stand. And it's not so much about who blinks, but I think, and for me, without knowing all the details, and again, maybe you can give me some of that more context. It didn't seem like a good look for the PGA. And maybe that's just me without the deeper context. If you're breaking your agreement, your contract, okay, I got it. But if it's just, we're now going to have this sort of vindictive approach to anyone that's doing something that they may deem innocent, whatever that might have been on Wesley's standpoint. But yeah, it's a bad look for the PGA in my mind. I don't know, Izzy, you were about to comment there.
I want to chime in a bit. What I don't understand is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't the PGA and Live kind of been trying to work something out for like the last year and a half? And it's like, well, you can't do it unless we do it first. Right. And again, as you were saying earlier, Bird, like they don't need the PGA. Golf on YouTube is growing exponentially right now, and it has nothing to do and is not being helped at all whatsoever by the tour. Right. Any collaboration that happens helps the tour. And so I get it's a PGA Tour carded player playing on a competing, technically I guess it was a live event, but even it wasn't. It was a pro-am maybe, it was just a social event really. That had players from Live and golf creators online. The only thing I can see is them saying, you're suspended for, I guess they gave him a year or something. I don't remember how long they suspended him from playing in, but
indefinitely.
Was it indefinite?
Indefinite
wow.
Suspension. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. That punitive. Yeah.
But here's what I think. He's not blinking his eye. He's got one of the most successful golf YouTube channels online. Him and his brother co-own a golf course and I think it's in I forget the town it's in, but in South Carolina, they're traveling the world doing what they love, and he wasn't really going to golf tournaments and and taking the cake. He has one win, couple less than 10 top 10 finishes, and I don't necessarily see him turning into a contender. His focus is YouTube. It's almost like being on the PGA Tour is get some views that come to YouTube after they've seen him play on the tour.
One of them is a side hustle. And I think
it's not the YouTube.
Which one is the side hustle for Wesley Bryan? You're right. He came out. He did not seem like he was wringing his hands.
Well, he already said that he has no ill will towards the PGA Tour. Right. He understands why because of their policies. It's a weird situation for me because he doesn't have a tour card this year. Wesley Bryant, in the events that he's played in on sponsors invites. He finished 156th in qualifying last year, so he did not earn his card. He's played on the tour this year with invites. That's how he's played in the tournaments he has.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that changes that
So
dynamic completely.
but again, because he's played in those events, he falls under the PGA Tour policy. So that's why and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because um, I'm kind of sick of the bullshit from the PGA Tour about, we just want to bring everyone back together. We want to figure out a way to finish, to find a resolution to what's going on. Then you go and make this decision, which is just going to cause further divisiveness within the golfing community, but also within 2 days, I believe it was 2 days prior to them announcing this decision, they invited Grant Horvat to play in a PGA Tour event.
Yeah.
Grant Horvat played in the exact same Live Duels creator event that Wesley Bryan played in.
That's a good point.
So it's, now it's just kind of, it almost feels like they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth because, look, we want to engage with the YouTube community and the content community to help grow the PGA Tour brand. So we're going to ask Grant to do this, but we want to do it on our terms. And if we have somebody else that wants to go and dance with someone else, well, then they can go eat poo. But I just don't understand the double standard of inviting somebody who played in the exact same event. That's where my confusion is, and that's where I think the BS is in this.
I'm with you on that one. Obviously, Grant Horvat is a huge draw, and I will say I really enjoy. We talked about this last episode. Yeah, I really enjoy YouTube golf, and of all the YouTube golf that I watch, Grant Horvat's channel is top 2 or 3 for me. I really enjoy the content, on his channel. So obviously, it's not hard to figure out why they want him in one of their events.
Yeah.
So I get it. I think though, being that he was in that event, the smart thing to do is don't invite him, because what they did with Wesley Bryan, I feel like they had no choice. So you have to suspend Wesley Bryan for taking part in that event because he has played in PGA events. And if you notice, they didn't suspend him the day after. It took him a few days when Dustin Johnson and Ian Poulter and a lot of those guys went to the first live event. They got suspended right away. PGA knew what they wanted to do. This one took a minute. I expect they probably needed to consult with their attorneys. What do we do in this situation? And I'm no legal expert, but just sitting back and kind of looking, kind of through the scenarios here, if you don't suspend Wesley Bryan for competing in this event, I agree with you, Izzy, it's not a live event, although when you're watching that duels, you see all the live signage because they're playing on the live event was the next day or a couple of days after. I think it started maybe the next day. If you don't suspend him, what's to keep any golfer you have suspended? Well, excuse me. Why am I suspended, but he's not suspended? I would like to challenge my suspension, please.
But he doesn't have a card. It's completely different. Those other guys have to have tour cards.
All right, but not all of them have tour cards now because they.
But they did when they got suspended.
I don't know that that's why they're suspended though. Where is it because they have their tour card? They don't have it now. So what would keep? Pick anybody. Pick Mito Pereira. He doesn't have his PGA Tour card now. He wants to come back. No, I'm sorry, you're suspended. Well, why am I suspended? But Wesley Bryan's not suspended. What's the difference? I don't know that, and I hear you making the case for it. And I see what you're talking about, Ando. But will a judge in a court of law see it your way? And more importantly than
I
that,
don't know.
does the PGA want that in the courts to begin with? Maybe it's just easier to suspend Wesley Bryan and be done with it. So I feel like that's
Keep it
probably
simple.
Well, it's going to go away because, like I said, he said that he doesn't care really.
No, he doesn't care.
But I think you could get into a scenario at some point, or there is a viewpoint where somebody does care and really wants to force this issue. And I think that the whole part of them having that card is what we're not having or not having is what.
Well, and as you said it a minute ago,
It's the same thing with it's the same thing with Grant Horvat, right? He doesn't have a card, so he can come play. But why can he come play?
That's
but
a great question.
This other guy can't come play. That's literally in the same boat as that guy.
That's the distinction.
That's a great question that I don't have an answer to. And I think the simpler thing is you don't invite him.
Yeah.
But the thing that I think is hilarious, and one of you said it a minute ago, the PGA says that they want to reconcile and they want to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah. I think they did. I think there was a time that, man, they wanted any way possible. Let's just get to the table. Let's hammer this thing out. But as soon as Liv took the stance, no matter what we do, Liv Golf has to, pardon the pun, has to live. Like, we have to continue. And the PGA was like, no thanks, because we think we're in a position of power now where we can just wait you out. Because some of your stars look like they want to come back. So I don't know that they want a resolution now. And Wesley Bryan is probably an easy person to sacrifice to them. What do they care? Because they're in a position of power. It's all about who has leverage, right?
Yeah.
And right now, it seems like the PGA has the leverage. I don't know that they want a reconciliation like they wanted maybe a year or two ago.
And I'll say, to your point too, Bert, as an avid golf fan, when everybody first migrated to Live, and I was like, man, PGA Tour is going to suck without John Rahm and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson and Cameron Smith. And honestly, about once a week when we have these conversations here on this podcast, on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube at the Swing Collective, that's when I think about it. But when I'm watching PGA Tour golf Thursday through Sunday, I never think, man, this tournament would be so much better if John Rahm was here. Right. Would I like to see him there if he was back? Would I be excited? Hell yeah. But I'm also, my point is that I think that the PGA's realized, you know what, our product isn't as diminished as what people might have thought it was going to be right off the rip. And we're still getting golf fans watching our tournaments. Yep. And nobody's really, I mean, look at the viewership numbers. No one's watching Live.
Dude, I could tell you between now and the weekend of the 16th, 17th, 18th of May, I can tell you the name of every tournament of the PGA is going to hold and where it's at. And if you offered me Masters tickets next year, if I could tell you when the next Live tournament is and where it's at, you will see a tear come to my eye because I have zero chance of winning those Masters tickets.
I think one of the things that Live has failed at, which I think was partially to do with all of the money that they were guaranteed up front, all the guys that went over have their ability, except Bryson. I think he's the only one who's maintained, or actually I feel gotten better. Everyone else they're not who they were when they were playing on the tour.
Yeah.
They're just not as good. Every single person has fallen off to a degree, some far more than others, compared to right before they left and signed their contracts and moved to Live. I think if they were still playing at the top of their skill, I mean, think about all the guys that came to the Masters, like Rahm didn't perform well. Dustin Johnson, I don't even think Patrick
Reed has has played Just
Give
played
a
all
man
right.
a membership to Orange Theory and watch him start throwing barbs.
Oh
at
my
people.
Dude,
God!
when I was a
Oh,
fat ass,
shit.
I was calling him fat.
But
Patrick Reed, I hope you're not a fan of the Swing Collective because I don't like you.
not now,
Yeah.
not now. But
I'm just putting that out.
B, you're somebody that my respect for you and personally and professionally, but professionally goes and knows no bound. It's almost like what Izzy is saying here, and I must have this wrong. When they were in the PGA, they had to perform well to get paid. But now they've gone to live and they got a big payday, and now they've softened up because they don't have to perform to get paid. B, it's almost like Izzy is saying they've gotten soft because they no longer have to perform to get paid. Do you think that would happen in our industry if we just got guaranteed contracts? We would get soft.
Funny.
We don't do it for the love of the game. Is that what he's saying?
Well, I don't know if we're going to edit this for Apple or for YouTube, but look, you neuter or you remove hunger, and all of the drive goes away. The intrinsic part, is one of our good friends likes to say, that makes people want to be better. And there's no singling out, no picking on. But I remembered hearing Harold Varner talk about he could go do what he could do and get more than he'd ever make. And part of me was like, wow, you know what? It's like, the NIL for college players. All of a sudden you can get something you couldn't have gotten before to live like you wouldn't have been able to live unless you stayed hungry, got a pro contract, and did the things for your mom that you'd always said you'd do. It's essentially the same. To me, I agree, Izzy, in this instance. And I singled out Harold, but he was just a microcosm of the bigger. John Rahm, 600 million, whatever those numbers were. You just can't wake up the same way. You can't. Yeah. And the psychology of it, with the exception of Bryson for different reasons. But look, he started out as an anomaly, a black swan, a little bit of a freak, a little bit of a scientist, a little bit quirky. And so some of that is actually what drives him from a personality bias versus the money necessarily. And I agree. Maybe I should slow it down and just be succinct. You can't offer someone that and not have them have to, I'll use the word, earn it.
Yeah.
In a secondary activity. Any human, no matter what the industry, but Bird, we've seen it, and we won't call names or be specific, but you really do take the intrinsic drive away.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's right. Gosh, give me a huge payday. I mean, I would just go off and play golf all day. I wouldn't continue to toil away in anonymity, right? I would just go play mediocre golf for the rest of my life, or something like that. Well, fellas, speaking of which, I guess we should probably wrap this up because some of us have to go to our day jobs at some point, right? So,
I think that's the case,
man. Another successful meeting of the minds on the collective that we will share on Apple Podcast and YouTube for the world to enjoy. And it's our review. I love it.
Gentlemen, thank you. Everyone watching, we are the Swing Collective. Please subscribe, tell friends and family about us. We appreciate you guys watching.
If you tell one person and they tell one person and they tell one person, that'll be 3 people right there. And before you know it, it's a groundswell.
Well, the same goes for you guys. Put it on your socials. Let's get it out there.
I love it.
All right,
fellas. It's always a
pleasure.
See you
guys next time.
Play some golf.
Thank you, Ando, Izzy.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Yes, see you next week. Thank you, Bird.
Take care, boys.